Right now at 10, alert day conditions are on the way again. We'll hear from the first warned weather team as southern Wisconsin prepares for more snow. And putting a ban on vape shops, the ongoing efforts to curb usage among teens in Monona. Plus, a new exhibit comes to a local art museum, how organizers are showcasing the creativity of Madison students. That is all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Sarah Carlson. Eric Franke is off tonight. Well, by this time tomorrow night, snow will be coming down all around southern Wisconsin. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington has more on the alert day conditions ahead. Hi, Alex.
Hey there, Sarah. In southern Wisconsin, you need to prepare for tomorrow evening. And we know that it's a holiday. A lot of folks are going to be out and about. So that Friday evening commute, this is going to be from 5, 6 o'clock going into the later evening hours. Wet snow across southern Wisconsin, 2 to 5 inches out of this burst of snow that's expected to be of that wet, heavy nature, and even coming down at a decent rate for a period of time is why we have winter weather advisories that are in effect through Saturday morning at 6 a.m. for all of southern Wisconsin and much of Wisconsin for that matter. And this is a 1-2 punch. This weather system is going to come into 2 pieces. We've been talking about some uncertainty. The Friday night part of this weather event, we have high confidence that evening commute being impacted 2 to 5 inches. But we're watching for the redevelopment of additional snow on Saturday. And latest weather models are shifting that track on Saturday, or at least some are, potentially more towards the south. So the first warm weather team, we're still tracking a swath of where we end up getting maybe 6 or more inches in total of snow. But it's going to be tough to pinpoint because we have this difference with our weather models. And I'm going to show you some of those differences coming up in Maine weather. Nonetheless, in the end, accumulating snow on the way to southern Wisconsin Friday going into Saturday with total storm accumulations between both parts, the one Friday night and then the additional part that is still expected on Saturday to be in the order of around 3 to 6 inches. We can't lose sight of tonight. It's going to be a cold night. Low temperatures in the single digits below zero with wind chills approaching 15 below zero. When could we be expecting wind chills in excess, or I should say colder than 30 below zero, maybe even 40 below zero in some cases? I'll let you know coming up.
All right, thank you so much, Alex. And we have a programming note for those of you who watch us on YouTube TV. Your access to WISC-TV could be interrupted. YouTube TV and CBS parent company Paramount are negotiating a new agreement. And if negotiations don't succeed, our station won't be in that channel lineup. Now, you should know that WISC-TV is cut out of these negotiations. This dispute is between YouTube TV and Paramount. So here are your best options for CBS programming if this were to happen. Important local news and vital local weather information. You can subscribe to DirecTV Stream, sign up with your local cable and satellite provider, or you can always watch us for free with an antenna. We will, of course, provide updates on our website, channel3000.com. The city of Monona is placing a ban on new vape shops opening near parks and schools effective today. Our Maddie Heimch brings us the details of the ordinance and why city officials say there's even more to be done.
This map shows us what the new restrictions look like in practice. The green represents parks and schools, and the red, existing vape shops in Monona. It's the 750-foot radius around those spots that any new shops are barred from.
Hopefully it helps, prevent some kids who really don't need to be involved in this from getting involved.
City Administrator Neil Steck-Schulte says it was concerns around e-cigarette use among youth that originally sparked talk of more oversight of vape shops. That led to a 180-day moratorium in the spring and eventually the new zoning code ordinance.
Really took that time during the moratorium to kind of examine really some of the science behind it, some of the health impacts.
Those health impacts, according to the CDC, e-cigarettes and chemicals in them are linked to cancer, lung disease, and stunted adolescent brain development.
Primary concern has always been, impacts to youth.
That's why city officials say keeping the retailers out of walking distance from schools and parks is critical. But what about those already established shops in close proximity?
They're grandfathered essentially. But they are used as part of the buffer. That another one, the 750 feet has to be from other existing shops.
Monona officials modeled the ordinance after similar ones already in place in Madison and Milwaukee.
I would be shocked if more and more communities didn't pursue this going forward.
Steck-Schulte says the city council will likely reevaluate the ordinance down the line, possibly strengthening the regulations.
Thank you, Maddie. The ordinance was passed by the Monona City Council in a vote of 3-2, and the council members that did not vote in favor said it was because they wanted even more strict mandates. Well, some teachers in the Madison school district may need to pay more taxes than they were expecting this year. The district made this announcement after the end of the 2024 calendar year. They found out that updates to the system may have excluded too much income from taxation. In an email, the district says this could particularly affect employees who did not have a recent W-4 on file. This is because pre-2020 W-4 forms use different tax tables compared to the current ones. Now, MMSD also sent News 3 Now a statement this morning that reads in part, quote, "We'd like to acknowledge that this occurred and sincerely apologize to our staff. We have taken immediate steps to prevent this error from happening again. This includes ensuring accurate system updates and a mandatory double-checking process for these updates," end quote. The statement also says that they believe all employees were impacted in some way, but the effects will be varying with each tax filing. At the state capitol next week, lawmakers are set to vote on their first package of bills this session. The Assembly Education Committee advanced a slate of 5 education bills that will be on next week's calendar. They include provisions to create standards on civics education and cursive writing. Another bill to keep an eye on, an education bill that would undo changes to how the state evaluates failing schools.
DPI is really failing our schools, failing our educators. To me, this is just a no-brainer, and we've got to get back to helping school districts assess where they're really at so they can measure their own progress.
Now, we're expecting these bills to get a vote in the Assembly next Wednesday. They will then head across the Capitol to the state Senate. An audit of the Milwaukee Public School District finds that it's struggling with being called a culture resistant to change. Governor Tony Evers ordered the audit last year after it became known the school district failed to submit financial reports. Auditors say they found critical issues stemming from staff turnover, fragmented planning, and outdated systems. A total of 29 recommendations were made to fix these issues. In a statement released today, the governor urged the district to accept the recommendations, saying, quote, "Milwaukee Public Schools must make systemic changes to ensure that students, particularly the most vulnerable, are at the center of every decision. Ultimately, this work is in service of students whose future success hinges on a district capable of delivering equitable, high-quality education," end quote. The governor is also proposing $5 million be spent to address future audit results from the district. Well, the Madison Museum of Contemporary Art is partnering with Madison schools to present a new exhibit. This one is called Young at Art, and it features works from more than 144 MMSD students, all the way from kindergarten through 12th grade. Look at that, pretty cool. The exhibit is meant to showcase the depth of expression and creative power possessed by young artists.
So there's a really, really cool tradition that is continuing with this exhibit, but also it's an opportunity to celebrate the incredible artists that we have in our community, to inspire young students to see that they too can be artists and to take their work seriously and get to see it really presented professionally.
Young at Art will open to the public on Sunday. The exhibition is free and will be on view until April the 6th. And a Disney classic is being brought to life by Oregon high school students. Next week, the school will be putting on its production of The Little Mermaid. You can see a little bit of it here. The show is based off of the 1989 Disney children's cartoon, which was later adapted into a Broadway musical. More than 100 students are involved in this musical, from being members of the cast and crew to working in the pit orchestra.
It's, for me, a really awesome opportunity to submerge myself into something that lets me connect to so many different people who have so many different backgrounds. And performing on stage lets me share my voice in a way through something that I love, that I enjoy doing, and it doesn't feel like a chore or anything. I don't know, I really love it.
Well said, Ariel. The Little Mermaid will run from February 20th through the 23rd. Tickets are $15 for adults, $12 for seniors, and then $10 for students. These can be purchased on the Oregon Performing Arts Center's website. After the break at 10, you're going to want to bundle up this Valentine's Day weekend. Alex will have more on the drop in temperatures on the way. Plus, President Trump signs even more executive orders, the action he's taking to fight back against tariffs placed on the U.S. We'll be back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back, everyone. President Trump signed more executive orders today, including one on reciprocal tariffs. He also addressed upcoming meetings to try and end the Russia-Ukraine war. Erica Brown reports from Capitol Hill.
President Trump showed off the executive order he signed that will determine reciprocal tariffs on U.S. trade partners.
It's a beautiful, simple system, and we don't have to worry about, we're charging too much or too little.
The executive order will charge countries the same tariffs they levy on the U.S. That could cause already high prices to rise.
Economists have said, time and time again that tariffs do end up being a bit of a short-term and potentially long-term effect on things like inflation. And obviously that affects price levels that we see on the consumer level.
India's prime minister paid a visit to the White House Thursday for a meeting with the president.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to have Prime Minister Modi of India.
The two leaders spoke about improving trade relations between the U.S. and India.
India's been to us just about the highest tariffed nation anywhere in the world. They've been very strong on tariffs.
The president also announced the U.S. and India will build a trade route running from India to Israel to Italy. In an evening press conference at the White House, President Trump discussed the negotiations that will be led by the U.S. to end the war with Russia and Ukraine.
I think we're going to be able to do something. I think we're going to be able to make a deal. And I hope so, because it's a horrible war.
The Trump administration also confirms to CBS News that representatives from Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency are now examining systems at the IRS as they continue their push to overhaul the federal government. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
President Trump was also asked about his involvement in the Department of Justice asking prosecutors to drop a corruption case against New York City Mayor Eric Adams. The president said he had nothing to do with it and had no prior knowledge of that request. Well, the Senate has confirmed Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to lead the Department of Health and Human Services. The 52-48 vote fell along party lines, except for former Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who was the only Republican voting no. RFK Jr. has long been a critic of vaccines and faced a contentious nomination process, with other members of the Kennedy family speaking out against his confirmation. Today, President Trump hosted the swearing-in ceremony in the Oval Office.
He's a fierce advocate for the health of our children and for the values of free speech, democracy, and peace. And people are going to be very impressed.
Whether you're in a blue state or red state, I'm going to do everything I can to work with you, whether you're Democrat or Republican, to restore child's health in this country.
As Health and Human Services Secretary, RFK Jr. will oversee the nation's health industry, which includes food safety, pharmaceuticals, public health, and vaccines. Well, California is hunkered down for a giant storm. A weather system known as an atmospheric river is drenching the West Coast. Southern California could get up to 6 inches, bringing possible flash flooding and mudslides. Los Angeles is especially concerned about burn scars from the recent wildfires, where there's little vegetation to hold back debris. Crews have installed barriers and sandbags to protect homes, and hard-hit neighborhoods are under evacuation warnings.
The fire department has pre-positioned swiftwater rescue and urban search and rescue teams, bulldozers, and other resources. DWP crews are activated to respond to power outages, and LAPD officers are checking on critical infrastructure and are ready to facilitate evacuations.
In Malibu, schools are closed and work crews placed barriers along the Pacific Coast Highway to protect homes from all of that mud flow. Now back here in southern Wisconsin, we're preparing for another round of alert day conditions. We have meteorologist Alex Harrington on standby. Man, a lot moving on.
A lot going on nationwide with the weather. So this is alert day set number 2 here. We have some complexities we need to talk about here in this 10 o'clock newscast, as it's not going to be clear cut with the accumulating snow as it looks like now for Friday going on into Saturday. Still 3 to 6 inches. That range looks likely across southern Wisconsin, but some changes in the track I want to show you where that heaviest snow may set up. We all are under a winter weather advisory that goes into effect Friday afternoon, lasting until Saturday at 6 a.m. for the entire state of Wisconsin. This is one projection here with our weather model here showing that snow heavy at times over southwestern Wisconsin, building in all the way to Madison by right around 4 o'clock. The rush hour, the evening commute, we know a lot of folks are going to be out and about, would be negatively impacted with heavy snow. This will be the wet variety. Could see a clap or hear a clap or two of thunder with this batch of snow. As we go further into the evening hours, 10 o'clock, it becomes a little bit lighter. And then as we go towards the early morning hours of Saturday, it turns off, it stops. And what happens after that, we're watching another band of snow across southern Wisconsin that will set up eventually on Saturday, but where it sets up is going to be key to who gets more snow. What is certain is this 2 to 5 inches of snow, that wet snow for that Friday evening commute across all of southern Wisconsin. What's not so certain, we're confident with the Friday night and the heavy snow expected with that first bout of snow. It's the second bout of snow that we have increasing confidence that there will be more snow, but where that track sets up is going to be key. And let me show you 2 different scenarios. Scenario number 1, if we get that track of extra snow on Saturday to set up just areas north of Madison, we may see 6+ inches for areas from the Dells over towards central Wisconsin and east central Wisconsin. But latest weather models are coming in and making it a little bit more complicated, showing that that heavier snow will set up to the north of the Dells, so 6+ inches up towards the north. This is scenario number 2, with perhaps a little bit less over southwestern Wisconsin, and that redevelopment of snow on Saturday actually taking place to the south and east towards Janesville, over towards Milwaukee, and over portions of northern Illinois. So you're definitely going to want to be tuning in tomorrow. Savannah will be here in the morning, Blaze in the afternoon at noon, and then of course I will be here with Blaze in the evening tomorrow evening as we track this complicated weather scenario. It's that second band of snow. It's going to be a bit tricky to forecast for, and we'll have the latest updates tomorrow morning and during the day tomorrow. What is absolutely certain, this isn't the tricky part of the forecast, the bitter cold Sunday going through Tuesday, a glimpse of that 30 to 35 below zero wind chills Monday morning. We've experienced this a couple times over the course of this winter season. Wouldn't be surprised to see some cancellations. This is new, though, here with our weather model, showing we could be looking at near 40, if not greater than 40 below zero wind chills Tuesday morning. That would be the depth, the peak of this cold air mass moving into southern Wisconsin. When you've got that deep snowpack that allows that polar air mass to really hang on tight here. So the accumulating snow we're tracking Friday going into Saturday, then the bitter cold air moves in on Sunday, and we'll be in that firm grip of that polar air mass Monday going into Tuesday, and then slowly working our way out of that cold air through the end of next week.
All right, we'll be staying tuned. Thank you so much, Alex. And when we come back on News 3 Now at 10, a Nordic-themed event returns to Wisconsin. The thousands of people flocking in for this ski event.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back, everyone. The American Birkebeiner ski race is back and just 1 week away. The Nordic ski event is getting some help from Mother Nature. Derek James visited Cable and Hayward to learn more about the Birkie's impact to the region.
In the tiny town of Cable, Wisconsin, there are signs of American Birkebeiner pride everywhere.
More than just the prestige of having the event and that recognition, there's a lot of dollars that come in with that.
The Birkie, a cross-country ski marathon since 1973, is inspired by Norwegian lore. The race from Cable to Hayward brings in $27 million a year to the area.
It's really, really important for these businesses that have really been on a second bad year of outdoor recreation and tourism here in northern Wisconsin.
Last year's smaller, modified event was tough on businesses along both ends of the course.
Everyone took a big hit by stocking up, replenishing, gearing up for the 50th, only to have a no snow year and warm.
There was no traditional finish on the streets of downtown Hayward. Events took place on a 10-kilometer loop around the cable trailhead using stockpiled and manufactured snow, something that wasn't possible when the Birkebeiner was last canceled in 2017.
It was that year that actually prompted us into investing in machine-made snow. We've now spent almost $2.5 million in investing in that equipment because we know how important it is to have the event here.
They pulled off a miracle last year, and everyone was grateful.
As the largest race of its type, the Birkie brings 12,000 ski competitors and 25,000 spectators from all 50 states and 24 countries.
It gets them here longer, they stay here, they eat more, they drink more, they hang out more.
On Monday, Hayward business owners got the news they'd been hoping for, that the Birkie will finish along these downtown streets.
Up north here in Berkey Land, we still can pull it off. We can still have good snow. Like, it's magic out there right now.
In Hayward, Derek James, WCCO News.
And bundle up, right? Berkey Week begins next Wednesday with an open track day. The full Birkebeiner race is Saturday, February 22nd. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Well, this is a rare one. Take a look at this. A humpback whale briefly swallowed a kayaker off the coast of Chile. Look at that. Over the weekend, a father was capturing his kayaking trip with his son near the Straits of Magellan when the incident happened. So the son says his real fear didn't set in until after the whale had released him.
Oh, wow.
I know, wow. You want to watch that again? Both men returned to shore uninjured. Now, experts do say that direct attacks like that by whales on humans are extremely rare. But there we are. And he got swallowed by a whale.
Oh, maybe the whale didn't like the taste of the boat.
I don't know.
I give up.
That's just, yeah, I think kayaking and the Magellan is out for me now. But the snow isn't. We know it's coming.
The snow is coming, and the bit of complexity I was showing earlier in Maine weather. Still thinking 3 to 6 inches in total across southern Wisconsin. You're going to want to tune in tomorrow morning with Savannah. The track of where that 6-inch band sets up, there could be one right across the center part of the state, but there also could be a secondary scenario that pans out where this additional snow we're expecting on Saturday might favor central Wisconsin, then areas just south and east Madison. Nonetheless, we're all going to get that batch of snow Friday evening, 2, 4, 5 inches of heavy snow, maybe even a clap or two of thunder, and that's why we have that winter weather advisory. In effect, that commute on Friday evening is going to be impacted, and then we have the bitterly cold temperatures with bitterly cold wind chills coming on in by early next week.
And we'll have to be ready. Thank you so much, Alex, and thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.